Hello everyone, Dakota here from Black Blaze Gaming. I have a very serious video I want to bring to you today. YouTube has just updated its terms and conditions, and it is by far one of the most profoundly shocking things I've ever seen, because of how massive it is, how absolutely batshit insane it is. And I shouldn't say that. I'm not allowed to say that anymore. It says, and I quote, advertiser-friendly content is content that's appropriate for all audiences, and it has little to no inappropriate or mature content in the video stream, thumbnail, or metadata, such as in the video title. If the video does contain inappropriate content, the context is usually newsworthy or comedic, and the creator's intent is to inform or entertain, not offend or shock. Content that is considered not advertiser-friendly includes, but is not limited to, sexually suggestive content including partial nudity and sexual humor. Making jokes about sex is not advertiser-friendly. Sex sells, they don't understand that. Violence, including display of serious injury and events related to violent extremism. Whatever the hell that is. That has no definition. And they don't speak of, to the realm of fiction. What about violence that's depicted in fiction? Or perhaps in a video game? Inappropriate language, including harassment, profanity, and vulgar language. Really? Profanity and vulgar language. Balls, shit, ass, cock, dick, piss, and fuck. Most people use YouTube because of the ability to speak freely and openly. Promotion of drugs and related substances, including selling, use, and abuse of such items. Fair enough. What about fiction? Again, people who use drugs in fiction. Controversial or sensitive subjects and events, including subjects related to war, political conflicts, natural disasters, and tragedies, even if graphic imagery is not shown. Well, first of all, what is graphic imagery? Second of all, how are we... What do you consider controversial and sensitive? It's just up to them to decide, per case, what they decide is just offensive and they don't want to see it. If any of the above describes any portion of your video, then the video may not be approved for monetization. If monetization is approved, your video may not be eligible for all available ad formats. YouTube reserves the right not to monetize a video, as well as suspend monetization features on channels that repeatedly submit videos for violating our policies. YouTuber Philip DeFranco has already been hit at least 12 times in the past 24 hours alone. What the fuck, YouTube? What the fuck? How dare you let a bunch of whining little maggots fucking control how you run your platform? How fucking broken is your system? How sensitive do these people have to be to request? You don't even have fucking profanity in videos on your platform. Everyone's gonna go elsewhere now. You're scaring away your content creators. Think about huge people like Markiplier and PewDiePie and Smosh who have vulgar language from time to time or make jokes about sex. What happens then? Gamers on YouTube who have become a huge fucking selling point for YouTube, especially with YouTube gaming, who do video games that happen to have violence in them. What are you going to do about them? Are you going to get rid of them too? You're going to take away their ad monetization and remove the ability for them to have a job? You're taking away careers, YouTube. Do you understand that? Do you get that? I cannot begin to explain how frustrating this is, to think that you just put the power in the hands of whining bastards. No, like, there's no talk about fighting it. You take the hands out of the creators and put it into the fans, and into the haters, into the assholes out there who just want things to go their way, and if they don't go their way, they're gonna write an angry letter. Boo hoo! Life sucks. Get a fucking helmet. It's just the way it's going to be, okay? Life is not fair. You're going to run into things you don't like or don't agree with you. And I'm sorry, but that's why the Constitution exists in the United States. One of the only fucking countries in the world who actually has a right to free speech. Here in Canada, I don't have a right to free speech. I cannot speak things that other people find offensive in public, or they can jail me for saying things people don't like. True or not, I can be jailed. In the States, they have that freedom because all speech is healthy, not necessarily because, people should be able to say things that encourage violence, but because we need to hear those voices, to know they exist and know why it's wrong. We need to hear voices, all voices. Even if there's shrill assholes who are complaining on YouTube, sure, we need to hear their voices. I'm not saying that these people shouldn't have the right to speak out against the things they don't like. I'm just saying that they shouldn't speak out against other people's freedom to speak out. That's wrong. That's selfish, and that is segregating the world into the people who get offended versus the people who honestly couldn't give a shit. Get a thicker skin. Plain and simple. Get a thicker skin. Fucking, like I said before, life sucks. Get a fucking helmet. See, what bothers me now, and I mean, I don't have a lot of regular viewers, but I know who you are. Of my regular viewers, you guys are great. Thank you for watching my videos. If you wanted to shut me down right now, you could. You could just do it. You could take away any ad revenue I've gotten. Any chance I have of making this into a career, you could take that from me. You could rob me of my future. In this moment, you can just flag this video as inappropriate. And all my other videos who have profanity in them, or violence in a video game, you could just flag them. And YouTube would listen to you. Because they don't care about their creators. They never have. And I don't believe they ever will. I don't know what the hell went wrong with Google to let this kind of thing happen to their platform, but it's wrong. It's absolutely abhorrent. We shouldn't stand for this. And I moved my streaming over to YouTube because it was a better platform, and I had more of a chance of people seeing my content on the YouTube gaming platform than on Twitch. But I'm at a point now where I'm considering just going back to Twitch and switching over to like Dailymotion or something like that, because this is ridiculous. This shouldn't be the way things are. Why should I work for YouTube's ad companies if they aren't going to support the kind of things that I want to do? The kind of things that, and I mean, granted, I appreciate that they don't allow porn on their site and things like that. That's fine. I get that. It's the same with Facebook. Facebook doesn't allow that kind of thing, and that's fine. However, a lot of the best creators out there are gonna have vulgar things in their videos, gonna have things people disagree with. Can anyone ever go and say and say that Pink Floyd were not artists, were not people who were expressing a genuine thing? Anyone ever watched the movie The Wall, where they said, "Are there any faggots in the audience tonight? Are there any queers in the house? Get them up against the wall." Yeah, it talks about controversial shit, but it's things that were happening at the time. And it's important to talk about those things. It's like, oh, the Holocaust was controversial, so we shouldn't discuss it. What? Yeah, it was controversial. There was shit went down back then, okay? And like now they're learning about a bunch of lies that happened and things. Like it just, a lot of things are not right about what happened back then, and they just, but people don't want to talk about it because it's a sensitive subject. And it's like, but those who ignore history are doomed to repeat it. Is that where we want to go? Do we want to go for another genocide? Because that's where this is heading. I mean, you've got movements like the Black Lives Matter movement who just want cops dead, and have been murdering people, and have been causing riots and violence all over the place. And nobody will stop them because they don't want to appear racist. They don't want to offend anybody in the interest of saving lives. The world's going mad. The world is going mad. And there's a group called White Lives Matter, and I don't agree with the idea of them. I mean, I imagine just hearing the name, I imagine they're just a parody. I imagine they're just a joke. Just like men's rights activism, they're not real. It's not a real group that exists. If there's anyone that claims it is a real group, they're lying to you, or they're just an asshole. But men's rights activists are a joke. That's the point. To poke fun at what feminism is. White Lives Matter is a stupid idea, but it shouldn't be considered hateful and a terrorist group simply because they're white. That is racist to do that, and yet it's happening in the United States. This PC culture that we live in is absolutely bonkers. It's crazy to think that we've foregone thousands of years of evolution and adaptation and social advances only to become these weak-minded, sheepish individuals who cannot handle a single word without breaking down and losing the will to live. It's absolutely bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Our species used to fight bears, and now it's considered wrong. God came and speared a bear in Canada, and that was considered wrong. These things are this PC mindset is absolutely ridiculous and just shouldn't be happening. I'm sorry, it's wrong. It's wrong to think that because what you're saying might be a sensitive subject that you shouldn't be allowed to say it. That is taking away a freedom that we should all be privy to, every one of us. Unless you break the law, in which case certain freedoms get taken from you. That's how the system works. And if you believe that you're being discriminated against, use the system. That's what it's there for. You're not supposed to be discriminated against. That's against the law. So fight it. You gotta fight injustice where you see it happen. You can't just walk through the streets and complain. It doesn't help. Raising awareness does fucking nothing. I'm sorry. No, like everybody wants to raise awareness about this and that and everything else, and eventually we just learn to tune it out because it's just bitching. You're not actually fucking doing anything. You're not fighting for anything. You have no goal. Some of you just don't realize that your purpose isn't there anymore. You have none. You have no purpose. Your group is useless. Social justice warriors need to stop. Need to stop. You see injustice, fight it. Don't talk about it. Fuck. And if you want to flag the video, you know, by all means, take my future from me. Because you disagreed with what I said. And isn't that equality? I guess that's the American fucking dream, isn't it?